Thanks for listening to our daily Bible reading lesson. Lesson today is It's All Gone to Pot. Well, that went to pot. You know, if you're like me, you've said something like, that went to pot, or that went to the dogs, and I never really knew where it came from. I looked it up. Seems back in the 1500s that there was a saying similar to that, and the cuts of meat that weren't any good, the worst ones, you threw in the pot, kind of boiled them, make them more edible. Or gone to the dogs, well, that which wasn't any good, you gave to the dogs. A lot of times we use that saying, though, about our efforts whenever they don't turn out quite like we'd want them to be. That's really gone to pot. I was going to do this and it went terrible, went to pot. The world, such a mess, it's gone to pot. The families throughout the world, gone to pot. Well, they're not good. Things go bad. And I couldn't help but think of that saying whenever I was reading yesterday in First Chronicles, the 15th chapter. A couple of days before in First Chronicles 13, we read of the failure that David had to bring the ark and the sad death of Uzzah. The efforts that were there, David wanted the ark back in Jerusalem, but things didn't work out. Things went to pot. Things went bad. And you think about, why is that? And in 1 Chronicles 15, in our reading yesterday, we find the reason. But it's also the reason why families are being destroyed. Society is just in a degrading thing. Moralities are just in a decline. In 1 Chronicles, the 15th chapter and verse 13, we're told that he failed, that everything went to pot because, he says, you did it not at the first. The Lord our God made a breach upon us, for we sought him not after due order. In other words, God has a plan. He has a way. David thought that he could bring the ark back. And instead of following the due order that God gave, he built a new cart. He decided he had a better way in mind to move that grand ark back to Jerusalem, but he was wrong. Sometimes today, people think they can, in essence, build a new cart. They can find a new way, a better way. Maybe it's about the plan of salvation. Well, if we're going to have everybody accept religion, got to make it easier. None of that obey him. Hebrews 5 and verse 9, John 14 and verse 15. None of that being baptized, as God spoke of in Acts the 2nd chapter. None of that repentance for sure, Luke 13 and 3, Acts 17, verse 30 and 31. But the reality is, doesn't matter how much we want to change things, God's way is right. David found that out. Uzzah found it out. The children of God found out that God brought a breach upon them because they sought these things not after due order. So many people, they have what some people say, they got a good heart. But the fact is, they're wrong. God's way is it. Colossians 3 and verse 17. That is the means, the order by which we seek God. Matthew 28, 18 through 20. We don't have right to teach anything other than that which Christ has commanded. So we go forth and we see the problems today. Why is it going to pot? Because the world doesn't seek things after God's due order. We need to make sure that our life is such that we're an example of looking after the things, as David found out. He determined after he found out the failure was because of he and others not seeking God after due order to do it the way God said, and success was found. We can find success in our salvation, in our worship, in the church, in the homes we have, in our daily living, if we seek God after due order. If we fail to, everything's going to pot. It's going to the dogs. It's the bad things. Just cast it aside. I pray that each one of us learn lessons such as that, and that we have a great day, and we will. Life's difficult, but if we seek God after due order, all things work together for good it's a good thing to follow God. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Thank you again for joining us in this Bible study. We remind you, if you'd like to follow along in our daily Bible reading, the link below in the description of this video will give you the PDF so you can read right along with us. If you have any other questions or if you'd like information on a Bible study, contact us with the information provided on the screen before you.